Hello, my name is Harshmeet Singh, and I have been teaching Indian polity to civil services aspirants across the country over the past 5 years. In this lecture, I will be taking you through with three very important acts under the historical development of the Indian Constitution. We will discuss the Regulating Act of 1773, the situation prevailing at that time. We will also talk about the Amending Act of 1781 and the Pitt India Act of 1784. Now, I know for a fact this is not the most interesting topic to most of the students because you have never thought about it like an interesting topic. So मैं यहाँ पे ये करने वाला हूँ कि I will try to explain to you उस टाइम पे क्या situation थी, what was happening at that time in India and in Britain, so that it becomes much more clear to you and you are able to remember all these things very comfortably. Now, before coming on to the 1773 Act, let us just first discuss British यहाँ पे आए क्यों थे और आए कैसे थे. Most of you would know British were not the first to come to India. British से पहले भी there were many Europeans that had come to India. Portuguese had come to India, French had come to India. In fact, people from Denmark had also come to India. Now, why were they coming to India? ऐसा इंडिया में क्या था? क्या हम सच में सोने की चिड़िया थे? Was India an enigma that everyone wanted to explore? The simple question is India had a lot of things that European countries did not have. And European countries saw this as a market opportunity. For example, India was famous for its spices, India was famous for its agriculture, for its handicraft. ऐसी कई सारी चीजें थी जो इंडिया में मिलती थी और बाहर नहीं मिलती थी. And the European people thought it is a great opportunity for trade. So वो इंडिया आएंगे, they will take the stuff from India, they will go back to Europe, they will sell it in Europe and they will earn a lot of money. इसीलिए एक एक करके a large number of companies, remember private companies were coming to India to trade. British also came in the form of traders. So basically East India Company was just a private trading company that came to India for trading. Just imagine I tell you Infosys goes to the UK to trade, to sell and to buy software. And all of a sudden after a few years they start ruling over UK कि आज से हम यहाँ के rulers हैं. Alright, that is what happened with the East India Company also. East India Company first came to India after getting a charter. Charter means a permission from their monarch. So a charter was given to East India Company in the year 1600. What was the charter? It was a permission that you can go and trade to that part of the world, and more importantly they were given monopoly. Monopoly means no other company from England would be allowed to go and trade in that part, only you can go and trade in that part. When you have monopoly, the advantage is that you can sell your stuff at whatever price that you want. There are higher profits that you can have. There is much lesser competition, so you can run the trade in whatever manner you want. आप खुद सोचो आज के टाइम पे इफ आई टेल पेप्सी केवल आप ही कोल्ड ड्रिंक बेचोगे, कोई और कोल्ड ड्रिंक नहीं बेचेगा, तो वो जितना भी बेचना चाहे बेचेंगे, they will have a lot of profit. This was kind of a monopoly given to the East India Company. अब monopoly क्यों मिली? Why did the East India Company get a monopoly? Because see, East India Company was a private trading company. So many members of the British Parliament, even the monarch, all of them had a lot of stake in the company. जो इंग्लैंड की क्वीन थी, जो इंग्लैंड के MPs थे, सबके पास कुछ ना कुछ शेयर होल्डिंग था कंपनी का. Means if the company did well, it earned them profit personally as well. So 1600 से 1773 तक सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा था, everything was going fine. In fact, it was said that company was one of the most profitable companies in the entire world. इतना ज़्यादा पैसा था company की, और I'll tell you, England government even had plans that we will take money from the company and we will repay our dues. जो पूरी देश के ऊपर उधार था, because they used to fight a lot of wars. So जो पूरे देश के ऊपर उधार था वो चुका देंगे कंपनी से पैसे लेके. This was their idea, because everyone thought that company is making so much money. Why did they think so? ऐसा क्यों लगता था उनको? Because anyone who used to come back to England from India, they used to bring with them a lot of money, a lot of resources, gold, silver. So everyone thought that company is making a lot of money. But the reality was something very different. The reality was the people working for the company were making a lot of money, but the company officially was not making money. The company officially was into losses. I'll give you a very small example. Let's say I work in Pepsi and Pepsi sells its 2 liter bottle for 80 rupees. Pepsi 80 रुपए की 2 लीटर की अपनी बॉटल बेचता है. अब मैं पेप्सी के लिए काम करता हूँ. सो व्हाट आई डू इज व्हेन आई कम आउट ऑफ ऑफिस, अब मैं ऑफिस से निकल के आता हूँ तो मैं छुपा करके इन माई कार आई ब्रिंग 100 बॉटल्स विद मी एवरी सिंगल डे एंड आई सेल देम इन द मार्केट. सो आई गो टू द मार्केट एंड आई टेल देम दैट व्हाई आर यू बाइंग द बॉटल एट 80 रुपीज, मुझसे 60 रुपीज में खरीद लो. सो खरीदने वाले का भी फायदा है. आई एम ऑल्सो प्रॉफिटिंग बिकॉज आई हैव brought the bottles for free, so I am getting 60 rupees. So what will happen? I will become rich. The person who is buying will also buy from me only, but the company will not get any money. That is what was happening in the East India Company also. So a lot of private trading was happening. The people involved in the company were making money, but on the official record, company was not making any money. इसीलिए in 1772 something very very dramatic happened. In 1772, East India Company applied for a loan of £1 million from the Bank of England. अब £1 million का लोन जब उन्होंने अप्लाई किया, it was very surprising for everyone. अब आप खुद इमेजिन करो, मुकेश अंबानी applying for a loan of 10 lakh from Punjab National Bank. You would be surprised, right? Because in your mind, Mukesh Ambani is the richest man in India. Why would he need the money? But he is applying for a loan. So when company applied for a loan of £1 million, that is when people started to understand company is not running well. There was a lot of problem in the company, a lot of corruption was happening. And that is when the British Parliament thought, now we will take control of the company. अब हम लोग कंपनी को चलाएंगे. यहाँ पे ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट ने कंपनी के पेपर्स ओपन कराए, दे सॉ द अकाउंट्स ऑफ द कंपनी. सो पार्लियामेंट ने क्या किया? पार्लियामेंट ने कहा हम आपको पैसे देंगे, वी विल गिव यू द लोन. इन रिटर्न नाउ वी विल स्टार्ट टू हैंडल द कंपनी. और यहाँ पे शुरुआत होती है. दिस वाज द स्टार्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट टेकिंग ओवर कंट्रोल ऑफ द कंपनी. और जो पहला एक्ट आया था वो था रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1773. As the name suggests, the parliament wanted to regulate the affairs of the company. Company कैसे काम करेगी ये parliament अब तय करेगा. That is what was being done. So it was the regulating act to regulate the affairs of the company. One more thing that you have to remember, when regulating act was passed, regulating act जब pass हुआ था, the prime minister of England was Lord North. Do remember this name. Now, when I say permission was given to the company, you can go and trade. What did the permission say? कहाँ trade करने की permission मिलती है exactly? It was not कि India में जाके trade कर लो, because the same company was trading in China also, Sri Lanka also. It was not about trading in India. This is a place in South Africa called the Cape of Good Hope. The permission that was given to the company was that you can go and trade to the east of Cape of Good Hope. So Cape of Good Hope के east में जाके you can go and trade, and you have monopoly. No one else will stop you. Means almost entire Asia, almost half of Africa, that was a permission given to the East India Company. So it is again important to remember. The charter said Cape of Good Hope. Now this charter, the permission that was given was not permanent कि जाओ और करो और कोई कुछ नहीं करेगा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं था. Earlier it was only given for 15 years, पहले 15 साल के लिए दिया जाता था, and then it was given for 20 years at a time. After every 20 years, हर 20 साल के बाद it had to be renewed. That is why you see that after 20 years acts were introduced. 1793 में there was an act, 1773 there was an act, 1813 में there was an act, 1833, 1853. Why after every 20 years? क्योंकि हर 20 साल में एक बार it was being increased, it was being extended. Now, how was a company being covered? Before the parliament started to take control, how was a company being covered? So as I said, it was a private trading company, so it had shareholders. All the shareholders of the company were together called the court of proprietors. So court of proprietors were the shareholders of the company. Everyone who had a share, they were called the court of proprietors together. Together, these court of proprietors, they elected amongst themselves 24 people. These 24 people were called court of directors. They were the ones who used to take decisions for the company. So court of directors, a 24-member body, this was the body that used to take all the decisions. How was this body selected? By the court of proprietors. So the court of proprietors, who were the shareholders of the company, they had given or they elected 24 people amongst themselves to work as a court of directors. These court of directors were elected on an annual basis, and they were the ones who took all the decisions for the company. Now in India, company had three headquarters or three presidencies, as you can call them. There was Bombay, Madras, and Kolkata or Calcutta of that time. Now remember, all these three were were independent of each other. Means it was not like Bombay and Madras has to report to Calcutta or Calcutta has to report to someone else. They were independent of each other. All these three were under a president who was also called the governor, and he was assisted by his council called the governor in council. All of them were decided by the court of directors. Court of directors sent these people. So they were absolutely independent of each other. They only used to answer to court of directors and not to each other. Now comes a regulating act. Regulating act came at a very, very interesting time. First, as I said, in India, the East India Company was going through a lot of loss because there was a lot of corruption. The second thing, at the very same time, if you have read world history, in America also there was a revolution starting against the British. So America was also a British colony. America भी British के ही under था. And Americans had started to say, no, we want freedom, we will not give you taxes, etc. So Americans ने क्या किया था? Americans ने टी का इम्पोर्ट बैन कर दिया था. मीन्स अभी तक क्या होता था, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी इन इंडिया, यहाँ से चाय जो बनती थी वो अमेरिका जाती थी एंड दे यूज्ड टू अर्न अ लॉट ऑफ मनी. अमेरिका में ऑन द अदर हैंड वो चाय का इम्पोर्ट बंद हो गया. अमेरिकन ने कहा हम नहीं चाय लेंगे. और जो डच थे जिनके पास इंडोनेशिया था और ये सब कुछ जगहें थी जहाँ पे टी मिलती थी, तो डच वहाँ पे चाय बेचना शुरू हो गया. तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को अब काफ़ी नुकसान होना शुरू हो गया था अपने खुद के करप्शन की वजह से भी, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग इन द यूएस आल्सो. सो अब क्या चीज़ें हुई देखो. रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट में द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट हैपेंड वाज गवर्नर ऑफ बंगाल, जो बंगाल के गवर्नर थे, वुड नाउ बी कॉल्ड द गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल. अच्छा, बंगाल में जो कंपनी का हेडक्वार्टर था दैट वाज कॉल्ड फोर्ट विलियम. So you can also say governor of Fort William will now be called Governor General of Fort William. The first person was Warren Hastings, so he became the Governor General of Bengal. So बाकी जगह पे अभी Governor of Bombay थे, Governor of Madras थे, बंगाल वाले को Governor General बोल दिया गया था. Second thing, Governor General was also given an executive council of 4 members. Now this is very interesting. वॉरेन हेस्टिंग को 4 और लोग दे दिए गए थे दैट नाउ डिसीजन मेकिंग वुड बी बाय मेजॉरिटी. यू विल ऑल वोट एंड देन यू विल डिसाइड हाउ द डिसीजन इज टू बी मेड. Interestingly, these 4 members who were sent to Warren Hastings were those people जिनकी Warren Hastings से पटती नहीं थी, who were not very fond of Warren Hastings, ताकि वॉरेन हेस्टिंग अकेले कोई डिसीजन ना ले पाए whenever he used to take a decision. क्योंकि वॉरेन हेस्टिंग के बारे में बहुत खबरें आई थी कि he is a corrupt man और he is not good और ये वॉर करना चाहते हैं, पैसे लेना चाहते हैं. तो उनकी पावर कम करने के लिए पार्लियामेंट ने ये किया था. बोला था हम 4 लोग भेज रहे हैं आपकी हेल्प के लिए, बट असल में वो 4 लोग ऐसे थे जो कि उनके अगेंस्ट काम करते थे, उनके अगेंस्ट वोट करते थे. देन फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम गवर्नर्स ऑफ बॉम्बे एंड मद्रास वर मेड सबऑर्डिनेट टू द गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल. अब जाके बॉम्बे और मद्रास वालों को बंगाल के अंडर लेने गया था. वो बॉम्बे को बंगाल को बताएंगे वो क्या कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं कर रहे. Then a Supreme Court was also established in Calcutta. Now the Supreme Court is not today's Supreme Court. ये आज के Supreme Court जैसा नहीं है, ठीक है. Also, this Supreme Court had very minimal powers. It said that Supreme Court will only look into cases for the company, people who are working for the company. But बहुत clarity नहीं मिल पाई थी कि Supreme Court की powers कितनी है. Because clarity नहीं मिल पाई थी Supreme Court की powers के ऊपर, that is why there was a problem that led to 1781 Act, जो हम भी पढ़ेंगे थोड़ी देर. So Supreme Court was set up as the apex court, but not for the entire country, but for a region. Then it also prohibited company from engaging in any private trade और bribes नहीं accept करने, जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया. इसी वजह से इनकी हालत खराब हो रही थी. And then the court of directors, जो हमने पढ़ा, 24-person body, they now had to report their revenue to the government. So they have to report their revenue and tell कि कितना पैसा कमा रहे हैं कितना नहीं. This Now you have to understand all these acts, जितनी भी acts हैं, these are many pages long जो अब officially pass हुई थी. So किसी भी book में when you see 7 or 8 points of this act, don't imagine कि बस यही है. बहुत कुछ और हो सकता है. Just that the books in this lecture also, what we try to tell you is the most important parts of it. The most important part from the examination point of view. तो अगर आप कोई और point आपको मिलता है कहीं से, and you think there's a new point which was not talked to me in the class, That's not wrong. That's just because there are so many hundreds of points and you can't include each and everything. Then the second act came up in 1781 called the Amending Act. Amending Act was for a very very simple purpose. It wanted to amend the 1773 Act. 1773 एक्ट में जो प्रॉब्लम थी, जो डिफेक्ट थे, उसको चेंज करने के लिए हुआ था. इट वाज आल्सो कॉल्ड डिक्लेरेटरी एक्ट ऑफ 1781. नाउ प्रॉब्लम क्या थी? As I said, the biggest problem was about the Supreme Court, because when the Supreme Court was opened, now it led to this problem ki who is more powerful, the Supreme Court is more powerful or the Governor General is more powerful. Will the Governor General take decisions? कोई भी problem होगी इंडिया में about the British servants, or the Supreme Court will take the decision. This had to be resolved. इसको resolve करने के लिए ही यहाँ पे ये एक्ट आया था. अब इस एक्ट ने क्या किया? This act curtailed several powers of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court की powers को curtail किया गया और Governor General in Council की powers को रखा गया Supreme Court की power से ऊपर. It also exempted actions of public servants in their official capacity. So जो भी public servant काम कर रहे हैं companies के लिए, उनका कोई भी official act है तो उस पर Supreme Court cannot do anything. Then the revenue collectors, judicial officers, इनको भी ऊपर रखा गया. Basically Supreme Court को officials के ऊपर कोई भी decision लेने के लिए power नहीं दी गई. Officials who are working for the company, उनके ऊपर Supreme Court अब कुछ नहीं कर सकता. Also Supreme Court could only preside cases in Calcutta. Calcutta के बाहर के केस वो सुन भी नहीं सकते थे. Apart from this, कहा गया कि जो Mohammedan cases हैं, the cases for Muslim people, they would be determined by Mohammedan law, and Hindu cases will be by Hindu laws. So basically kind of dividing on the basis of religion कि हमारा एक uniform civil code नहीं होगा, the laws will be as per the religion. That is the first incident of separation of executive from the judiciary. बहुत clearly define करा गया गवर्नर जनरल की क्या powers होंगी, जुडिशरी की क्या powers होंगी, so that they are not jumbled up with each other, दोनों में कुछ confusion ना हो. For the Amending Act, you only need to remember that it was to resolve the conflict between judiciary and the Governor General, और ये 1773 के act को उसमें जो दिक्कत थी, जो defect है, उसको amend करने के लिए आया था. The next act came up in 1784 called the Pitt's India Act. Now Pitt's India Act has very few points but very very important. First, it separated the commercial and political functions of the company. कैसे हुआ था? मैंने आपको क्या बताया था? Till now there were two bodies, court of proprietors, जो जितने भी shareholders थे, उनके ऊपर they elected their court of directors, 24 people who governed the company. अब इनके ऊपर above them a new body was formed. What was the new body? Above them, Board of Control was set up. Now what was Board of Control? Board of Control was a body जो इनके ऊपर बनाई गई थी by the Parliament. Parliament अब बनाएगा. Board of Control will look into political affairs of the company. मतलब कि कहाँ rule करना है, if there is a war with someone, कैसे deal करना है किसी राजा के साथ, ruler के साथ. That was the function of Board of Control. Court of Director on the other hand will look into the revenue side of it. Court of Director उनके revenue side या commercial functions को देखेगा. That was done. इसके अलावा the Governor General and Council, they were reduced from 4 to 3. We just read in the 1773 Act, Governor General की Executive Council of 4 members were added. Now they were reduced to 3 members. So this is again very very important because ये पूछा जाता है by which act how many members were increased or how many members were decreased in the Governor General's Executive Council. ठीक है? Then Indian affairs were placed directly under British government. कैसे? क्योंकि अब देखो Board of Control Parliament चुनेगा इंग्लैंड का, so Board of Control will happen. The political function means India's politics was now firmly into the hand of the British government. Again, a very important point, British territories in India will now be called British possessions in India. कि British का ही है यहाँ पे सब कुछ, company का नहीं है, British का possessions है. Then councils are also given to governors of Madras and Bombay. 1773 में केवल बंगाल के governor council दी गई थी. Now Madras and Bombay governors also had their council. Also, one more point, all the officers joining the East India Company coming to India had to disclose their property. क्योंकि corruption इतना ज़्यादा हो गया था. Because of all that corruption, it was thought that everyone has to disclose their property. If you have read Indian Polity, जो लोकपाल हमारा बनाया गया है, the लोकपाल has similar powers. When the lokpal was made, it was given the power that within 30 days it can ask for any IAS or central service officer to give details of property and whatever he or she holds. Now this 30-day limit has been taken away, but lokpal in India still has the power to ask for civil services, civil servants property, assets, etc. The same kind of thing was being done in Pitt India Act to avoid corruption. Lokpal also does the same thing to avoid corruption. Now, just to give you a practice question to tell you what kind of questions are asked. So this was a question asked in UPSC earlier. It is about what were the features of the Regulating Act of 1773. First, Supreme Court was set up at Calcutta. This is absolutely correct. Executive Council was created for Governor General of Bengal. This is also correct. If you remember, a 4-member council was created, reduced to 3 members in the Pitt India Act. Then the governors of Madras and Bombay were made subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. Again, an absolutely correct statement. Fourth, established board of control to manage political affairs. We just read this is not correct. This happened in the Pitt India Act. So very straightforward, easy to answer question. The answer will be C. These are the kind of questions that can be asked, and you can cover them very well if you read the notes and if you go through these videos correctly. This brings me to the end of the class. I hope you know about EduRev Infinity. It has been prepared by UPSC experts, people who themselves have cleared the UPSC examinations. It has over 10,000 questions for your practice, appropriately designed for the UPSC level and made by the experts who have cleared the UPSC exam themselves. Thank you so much for watching the video.